Greetings, beautiful people. So look at the word invisible, okay? Invisible. So it's visible when you go within, right? But think of it like this, all right? Everything outside of you is lit up by the sun, the light, right? Whatever it may be. At nighttime, you have the moon, the stars. Unless it's super cloudy, you notice everything's pitch black. Let's say if you go into the woods, because I got caught in the woods with my son when we were hiking, and it got pitch black. But pitch black, basically nothing, you can't see anything. So basically whatever you know, because you were walking the trail. I mean, I was walking the trails and I know where I'm at. But the fact that I know where I'm at, I believe, wholeheartedly where I am at, which is why even if everything is dark, I might stumble on rocks or, whatever it may be. And what happens if you was to just really, just sit there and go into a trance-like state? The only way you can pretty much come out of this vessel is by raising your vibration, right? Why do you think before you come out of body, your body starts to vibrate, right? Because you're raising your vibration. This is a dense, lower vibrational realm. So you raise your vibration. And you do that, of course, with the intent. So when you're, before you come out of body, you have your eyes closed, you maintain your awareness. You don't want to fall asleep, but then that's going to be requiring energy. This is why I say, like, you have to have, conservation of energy. So even channeling, like, you channel people talk about channeling, spirits and all that. I mean, which is certain energies, but you're channeling me right now. I mean, you're tuned into my channel. This is why people put out their information on YouTube, right? So what is required? Your attention. The same way these energies require your attention. And what can you get out of it? What you get out of it is based on the awareness you have and the level of energy you have. Because you could just fall asleep, right? Things could get programmed into you. But then you don't have the awareness as to what, you can't use discernment or intuition to know if that's serving you or not. Because it's going in, but you're just not aware of it. So that's why the energy is important. So you don't fall asleep, because you can fall asleep in school. You fall asleep in school, you're still getting the information. That's where the indoctrination starts, right? But these videos, you could fall asleep to my video right now, right? You're still getting the information, but you ain't going to be able to use the discernment or awareness. You tuned in, right? You're listening. It's getting programmed into your subconscious. But again, this is why energy is important. All right. And before, you do any channeling or even like, because I'll tell you right now, I'm using this medium. I'm channeling energy now to put this video out, but it requires energy to do that. So energy, okay, there's physical energy, which is why, they tell you before you come out of body, the best time to do it is like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning when, you've slept a little bit and your body's well rested. See, I noticed there's also physical energy, but there's also spiritual energy. See, a lot of the times we're putting our attention and dimming our light, chasing the lights outside of us in a form of like, luxury or whatnot. Nothing wrong with that. But how strong is your light? Because you could be out here, physically working and earning good money, right? But is it doing anything for you spiritually? Let's say if you was to leave this realm, I mean, what are you really taking with you? You can't take that physical energy with you, but it all has to start metaphysically first. So whatever you start, you metaphysically make yourself abundant, right? You can physically, trickle that down here, because it's going to trickle down here regardless. But see, it doesn't necessarily have to happen like that. You see, people think like this out here doesn't matter or anything like that, and it does, because you see, for you to acquire knowledge out here, it's still very important, because even people want to talk about visualization and all that, but what are you visualizing if you know nothing of this outside realm, right? Let's say if you were blind your entire life, what are you really visualizing? You can only visualize what you would have to use your imagination, of course, and it would come down to, I've always wondered, like, what happens if a blind person, has a DMT experience or whatnot? What would they be seeing, right? Because everybody out here sees basically whatever they know, what they know from out here. So when you're visualizing, I want to visualize myself in a better state. You visualize based on what you know, right? But it's important to, this is why they say, like you have financial gurus, they'll tell you go to an expensive dealership and sit in the car, feel the steering wheel, and then you go home and you visualize that, right? But you have to go there and experience the car for you to actually know what you're going to visualize. Now, the blind person may be, this is what I'm thinking. I mean, because there's many people who come here in a certain state for certain reasons, right? Maybe that blind person is here to experience this life for that reason, or is here paying something up, whatever it may be. I don't know, but let's say whatever experience they have, wouldn't it be from a memory of a past life? You know what I mean? That's probably the experience they could have. I mean, there's a story of a soldier that, went in a coma. I think he got blown up by a bomb or something like that. He went in a coma and he woke up speaking Mandarin, right? But he wasn't Asian. You know what I mean? I think he was white or Hispanic. I forgot what he was, but he woke up speaking Mandarin. Why is this the memory? There was something that happened through the trauma, right? So it activated something in him. So what would happen if a blind person happened to have an experience? What would it be? The experience they would have would probably be based on a memory from the past, but they not something that they would experience here in this realm, because they never saw anything outside of this realm, in this realm rather. But it's always very interesting to look into things like that. But energy is pretty much everything. This is your most important currency is your energy, because with your energy, the higher your energy, the more awareness you have. See, because if you're tired, let's say if you're drowsy, right, and you're driving your car, you're more prone to getting into a car accident, right? Because you're drowsy, you're falling asleep, right? And you're not aware of certain things or certain obstacles that may be blocking you, that cause you to get into that accident, right? So, when you're let's say low on energy, your awareness is a lot lower also. And this is why it's important to keep your energy high. Energy conservation. And a lot of times, if you really want to think about it, this is why the eating is if you don't know how to manage your energies, because see, there's the thing. A lot of people, when they first come into this path, they start to, stop eating animal meat. They hear things of fasting and whatnot, because it's something that will conserve your energy, because it takes a lot of energy to metabolize certain foods that don't belong in there, which is why when you eat, you tend to yawn. You go, you yawn and you get something called an itis, right? And this is why if you give up meat and all that, see, people will give up meat and fast because they were told to do so, or they heard that it's the path to enlightenment and all that. But as you experience, you'll notice that it is not really the only way. It is just a way to get you a step closer to where you're going. But it is not the only way, because you can go back to eating the meat if you want. It's going to lower your vibration most likely, because of the fact that it's a much lower vibrational, dense object you're putting into your body. And there's no life to it if you really want to just look at it from an energetic standpoint of view. You know what I mean? But then again, here's the thing. See, if you're vibrating high and you take the animal product, all right, it's going to lower your vibration a little bit. It might bring you down. It's kind of like I told you when you smoke marijuana, all right? If the plant's vibrating higher than you and you eat the plant, and you smoke the plant, you're going to vibrate high. You're going to be high. But if you're vibrating higher than the plant and the plant is vibrating low, that's why you get those lows. You get and you might even get those munchies are going to be more aggressive than if the plant was vibrating higher. Okay? So, and this is the way it is with food. See, if you're already in a high vibrational state and you intake the meat, you want to take that food to kind of ground yourself, because you're probably too high. You know what I mean? And you gotta bring yourself down to this realm a little bit. And sometimes you gotta eat grounding foods, but you want to eat the foods with certain intent. So, those things are important to be mindful of. Even people do offerings, this ritual, and they do offerings. Your body is the altar. You're the alter ego, so you use your body, and you just have to know how to clean the house. That's the key, is just knowing how to clean your house afterwards. See, I've noticed that when you go in at a higher vibration, if I'm going to eat meat, I'm going to be vibrating high. If I'm in a low vibration, I'm not going to eat the meat, because it's just, all I'm doing is just then lowering my vibration, and just, you got to know your vibration, know your energy levels. If you're going to engage in doing something, know your energy levels. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go work out if I'm like exhausted, tired, and I'm all tore up and all that. See, a lot of people do things to kind of put their body in an unnatural state, such as taking pre-workouts. You're already going to work. You're all tired. You're all destroyed from work. They took all your energy, all your attention, all your life force, and then you're going to go and take a pre-workout and spike those adrenals, and you know what I mean? And think about what happens after. That's why you get that crazy crash after a pre-workout. Who's gonna want to do spiritual work after that? Because here's the thing. See, this is how society works. They got you working 8 hours, then they tell you have to look a certain way to fit in. This is why it's called the fitness industry. And then you have to go to the gym, you have to work out, but you don't have energy, so they promote you pre-workouts, and then your body becomes dependent on these pre-workouts, because every day you come out of work, you see your body's you're a creature of habit. So now that you took this pre-workout, you felt so good, now you got to always take it. And when you don't have it, you feel fucked up, right? So then they tell you take branched chain amino acids, you know what I mean? And then they tell you got to eat a big solid meal, take your protein shake after. See, all these things, they put your body through a certain level of stress that is not natural, but it also dims your spiritual light. You can't go in and really have an experience or have enough currency, all right, to basically power yourself up in any way to have any kind of experience. I could tell you that because I've been in those states. You know what I mean? And all your attention is toward how you look, you know what I mean? How you're performing at work. So, and I was making good money. I was hitting the gym. I'm taking all these supplements and all that. But again, here's the thing. This is why the things outside of you are also important tools, because see, I didn't know anything of what I know now. See, but I had to start with knowledge, but the knowledge needs the wisdom. And this is why, shout out to Flight Boss, because I just recently saw a video he made, and this was a pretty synchronistic video. Because this video he put out basically explains the difference between knowledge and wisdom. See, a lot of times, a lot of people, you see me, something sparked me that got me into this path from what I was originally doing in my mundane life. Thinking that was, and I've always known there was more to life, but it's kind of like just, I was just riding the waves. I was making good money. I was getting a lot of girls and, just doing my thing. And then, it's kind of like what just kept me going in a blindfold way. I was just blind, And then I started to get into rabbit holes, you know what I mean? Certain things started popping up. I started acquiring knowledge. See, but the knowledge is important because it guides you to it leads you to the wisdom. But the thing is, see, the knowledge ain't shit unless you apply the knowledge. See, applying the knowledge is the important part. This is where you gain the wisdom, right? You'll go through points where, because here's the thing, this is where it could also fuck you up. See, I've always been somebody I had money, so I always wanted people to do things for me. See, I was always knowledgeable of fixing cars because I used to hook up cars. But the fact that I had money, I was like, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm just going to pay somebody to do it for me. So I didn't do none of my tune-ups. I didn't do nothing. I didn't even change my brakes. I'll pay to get it done. And here's the thing. I have my stepdad, my stepdad was actually an electrician. He hooked up homes and stuff like that. And I remember I wanted to get all these things hooked up in my apartment. I wanted TVs everywhere and all that. And, he was actually trying to show me how to do it, but I'm like, just fucking do it. I'm paying you to do it, just do it. I don't fucking care, So I didn't even want to learn how to do that. So there's got to be a balance. You know what I mean? Let's say, for example, money could change you. You see, when somebody's in need, they'll go and do something themselves. Okay? Or, like I said, there's people who want to invest. So, see, there's got to be a fine line, there's a balance, because even investors, let's talk about real estate investors. See, real estate investors, if they go and, remodel the house themselves, they're going to actually lose money because they're not investing their time wisely. See, if you bought a home, right? Let's say you put a certain amount of money in, right? You want to pay contractors to fix the house for you, right? So you're gonna invest a little bit of that chunk of money you have to have people, hook up the house and fix it for you, because you're gonna resell the house for a larger amount of money. Which means that while those people are fixing your house, the time that you, instead of you being in that house fixing that house, now you take that time to go out and make another deal, purchase another house. You get what I'm saying? So now, by the time you do that, that house will be done. You can go sell that house, get the return for it, right? And then that's basically you investing your time and money wisely if you're going to do it physically. Now, let's say, but that's when you're doing it in that way. But then there are moments where it'll be something like simple that you could do yourself. Like me, for example, I wasn't doing anything else, but that's why I said it's just depending what you're doing with your time and your space here. Because again, there's moments where I could have learned to do certain things myself, but I didn't, because I was like, yeah, fuck it. I got cocky. I didn't want to. I'm paying this dude. I'm just gonna go have a good time, and I wanted to go chill and party and do my thing. So I didn't want to get dirty. But certain times, yeah, with this path, I noticed that you got to do the work. You got to get dirty. You can't just go out here and learn this knowledge, through these channels, because you're learning. People talk about channeling. You're watching my channel. You're channeling me. And I channel other people when I'm watching their videos. You're all spirit guides. You're all living this human experience, but your spirit's in the vessel. You're spirit guides. Okay, but it's the same way, physically or metaphysically. You still got to use discernment and intuition to know if it's serving you or if it's not serving you. And you may not even need that. It's not that it's not useful. Everybody's information is useful, but sometimes it might not be useful to you at that moment, because everybody's just like a tool too. You may need a screwdriver and not a hammer at that moment, but you ain't gonna throw the hammer away, right? You're gonna need the hammer later, right? It's just that on your level that you're at and where you're building yourself, you're just using screwdrivers until you're going to need a hammer, or until you're going to need something else, or maybe even a heavier or more complex power tool. Okay, but everything's useful. So by the time you're using those power tools, you're not going to throw away your simple tools such as your screwdriver or anything like that, right? At that time when you were there, you may need a flathead screwdriver and not a Phillips screwdriver, because it's not going to fit. So there's certain things that you need at that moment that you may not need later, but you'll need them later on, or whatever, vice versa. So, and everybody's a tool. There's certain things you may hear from people that don't resonate with you, but it doesn't mean it's not useful. It just may mean that you don't need it at that moment, but you may need it later on, right? You may not be at that level, that frequency. That's why when you're not at the frequency or vibration, you may not even understand certain shit. And it's because you're not at that frequency. You see, like an antenna, you tune into certain things. But if you're not tuned in, you're not at that level of frequency, you won't understand it. Okay? So, the balance is where, see, I didn't want to get dirty. The reason I didn't do mechanics is that I didn't want to get dirty, because I wanted to keep my nails clean. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get my clothes dirty, or I didn't let's say, for example, like he was showing me how to do certain electrical things so I could do it myself, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't care for it. You know what I mean? But I wasn't getting anything out of it by, let's say, not learning. Let's say if I would have stayed there and learned, I would have got something out of it, because it's not like I was doing anything else with my time at that time. I just went and party. So I was wasting my time instead of applying myself to learn something that I could do myself, right? So let's say, for example, simple information you may hear online, certain protocols, certain things, you can use that level of information to your advantage, right? But then it's about applying it and learning it and applying that wisdom to yourself, okay? I hope I made myself clear, because I probably went all over the place, but, use your energies wisely, because my energy could have went toward learning how to wire something or learning how to put something up. But instead, what I did was I used my physical money to have my stepfather do it. And then I went and wasted my time partying and talking to girls and doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? And it's an experience. Nothing wrong with that. You see, there's nothing wrong with anything. Because listen, I'm not going to tell you I didn't have a good time. I had a good time. Right? So, but you got to know, hey, there's got to be a balance. It's nothing bad with having a good time. It's good to have a good time. You vibrate higher or whatnot, but is it going to serve you later? right? How would I have managed it now if it was happening to me now, right? I probably would have managed it differently because of what I know now, right? But everything is stages, everything's levels, everything's experiences. That's why there's nothing bad or good. Everything's balance, you know? It's not you coming on this path, because a lot of people come on this path and they don't even enjoy themselves. They take it too serious, and that's just like being religious, just like another religion then. And it's about enjoying yourself. But see, it's not it's all work, no play, or you know what I mean? Like, you got to know how to balance the work and play, but you put in the work, right? You empower yourself, learn the shit, and then enjoy, right? I didn't do it like that when I was, you know, with that example I put out. So that's all I got right now. You know, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk soon.